The house was silent. Not the peaceful kind, the kind that presses on your chest. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just looked at him. Her eyes were calm, steady, too steady. And that was what made him shift in his chair. He had seen every other version of her before. The one who apologized, the one who begged for answers, the one who made excuses for him. But this was someone new. Someone he had no script for. And deep down, he knew the game was over, even though she hadn't said a word.
Carl Jung once said that the most unsettling moment in human psychology is when a person stops reacting the way you expect. It's not the shouting, the tears, the slammed doors that should scare you. It's the silence. Because silence means clarity, and clarity changes everything. Today, we're going to break down what happens when the empath, the one who used to absorb everything, finally stops. When they stop carrying everyone else's pain, stop excusing what they know is wrong, and start seeing the full picture. We'll explore the stages of that transformation, the psychological triggers that lead to it, and why the person who comes out the other side is far more dangerous and far more free than anyone expects.
The world has a script for sensitive people. You're supposed to be the peacemaker, the one who smooths the conflict, the friend who stays up all night listening, even when your own life is falling apart. Society praises this version of you, but only because it benefits from it. Think about it. How many times were you rewarded for staying quiet? How many times did you swallow your feelings because it wasn't worth the fight? And how many times did someone call you too sensitive the moment you finally spoke up? That's not an accident. That's a system. A system that convinces you your empathy is only valuable when it is unlimited, unconditional, and unprotected. But Jung had a different view. He saw sensitivity not as fragility, but as a higher form of perception, a radar that picks up what others miss. You don't just hear what people say, you notice when their voice tightens on certain words, when their story changes halfway through, when their smile doesn't reach their eyes. At first, this radar feels like a curse. You end up carrying everyone's tension, anticipating everyone's moods, bending yourself into shapes to keep the peace. But here's the paradox. The very trait that once made you vulnerable is the one that will one day make you untouchable.
Every interaction you've ever had has been recorded. Not in notebooks, not on paper, but in the quiet parts of your mind. Every sigh you ignored, every little "I'm fine" that didn't sound fine, every moment someone gaslit you into thinking you were overreacting, it's all there. Years of micro-expressions, tone shifts, inconsistencies, filed away where no one can erase them. At first, you don't know what to do with this archive. You tell yourself you're just being dramatic. You forgive. You let it go. But one day, often after a betrayal too big to ignore, the archive unlocks. And when it does, it feels like a lens snapping into focus. Suddenly, every red flag you ignored lines up in order. Every excuse you made for them collapses. You realized you saw it all coming. And that's what hurts the most. This is what I call the clarity event. It's not rage. It's not despair. It's stillness. Your heart stops racing. Your mind stops spinning. And what's left is something sharper than anger. Precision.
Predators expect chaos. They expect you to cry, to plead, to explain yourself into exhaustion. They know how to fight on that battlefield.
It's where they win. What they don't expect is silence. Silence unnerves them because it means you are no longer playing by their rules. It means you've stepped outside the script they wrote for you. This is the moment Jung described as the confrontation with the shadow. The moment when all the parts of you that were pushed down, the anger, the intuition, the discernment, rise to the surface at the same time. And for the first time, they're not fighting each other. They're working together. Your empathy is still there, but now it's paired with clarity. And that combination is impossible to manipulate.
Stage 1. Recognition. This is where you stop explaining away your own intelligence. You stop telling yourself you imagined the red flags. You recognize that your anger was a signal, not a flaw. And you stop treating your intuition as something that needs to be fixed. Stage 2. Integration. Your heart and your mind stop pulling in opposite directions. You can feel someone's pain without making it your job to fix it. You can say no without feeling like a monster. You can feel guilt and recognize it as emotional leverage, not a moral obligation. This is where manipulators start losing their power over you, because the buttons they used to push no longer produce the reaction they expect. Stage 3. Application. This is the stage that scares them the most, because here you become deliberate. You don't shut off your empathy, you aim it. You choose who gets your energy, when you engage, and when you walk away without a word. And here's the thing, you don't need to announce it. People can feel it. The ones who thrived on your compliance start to get uncomfortable. The ones who respect you, they lean in closer. This transformation doesn't just change you, it changes the entire ecosystem around you. In families, the peacemaker stops absorbing everyone's tension, and suddenly, the conflict everyone tried to avoid finally comes to the surface. The sibling who relied on guilt to get their way realizes it no longer works. The parent who used manipulation to stay in control is met with silence where there used to be compliance. In workplaces, office politics stop working the same way. The manipulator who once thrived in the shadows finds that their tactics no longer land. Meetings become more direct, projects become cleaner, and others start mirroring your clarity, because clarity is contagious. Even in friendships, the ripple is visible. The one-sided friend either learns to show up for you, or they slowly drift away. And that's not loss, that's pruning. You are no longer spreading yourself thin. You are choosing who gets the best of you.
Jung warned about this moment because clarity is power, and power can heal, but it can also harm. You could use this new precision to punish, to corner people with their own contradictions, to humiliate those who once humiliated you. But that isn't freedom. That's just becoming the thing you swore you'd never be. Real freedom is when you no longer need revenge. You no longer need them to admit what they did. You simply know the truth, and that is enough. This is what makes the cold empath untouchable. They are no longer trying to win. They've already won the moment they stopped playing.
If you've ever felt this shift, if you've had that moment when your clarity became louder than your hope, type it in the comments right now. I choose clarity. Not for me, for yourself. Because the moment you write it, you turn this from just a video into a declaration. And if this spoke to something deep in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because the more of us there are,
the harder it becomes for the old patterns to survive. Subscribe if you want to stay in this circle, where the ones who see through the noise find each other. Because this conversation isn't over, and the next chapter might be the one that changes everything for you.